Thank you for watching BCP Builder's training series on business continuity management. In this video, we will be discussing the third professional practice in the business continuity management lifecycle, analysis.
Before I give my opinion on that, I do want to acknowledge that that is not a universally held truth. There are people today that are debating the usefulness of the BIA, trying to change the way that business continuity is approached. And one of those things is that we need to improve the return on investment. And the way that they propose to do that is to reduce the investment and to make sure that the return is in line with that investment. And a lot of people see the BIA as an overly complex and difficult way to get some information. There's better ways of doing it, etc. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that not everyone does agree that the BIA is a critical component to a resiliency program. I happen to believe it is. I can't imagine how you could set up a program without a BIA. And there are three reasons I want to talk about the BIA. But before I do that, let's just get rid of the obvious reason, which is the BIA introduces a risk profile to your process. That risk profile determines everything else that happens through the life cycle of the planning process. So based on the criticality of a process that we get from the BIA, that's how we know how quickly to recover that process. We know which strategies we can use, etc. And then that impacts the dependencies, the required dependencies for the process. They then need to inherit the risk value, etc. So the risk profile is developed during the BIA, and it's a quantifiable approach to assigning risk to a process. So that's kind of the obvious answer. But some of my personal reasons why I like the BIA so much is, the first is that typically the BIA is the first major component that I'm working with the business on. So that's the first time we're coming together and we're really interacting and communicating together. The way I approach resiliency is less about practice and more about teaching and training. So when I work with the business on the BIA, what I'm actually doing is training the business how to conduct a BIA. At the end of the day, the program manager that I'm working with that owns risk for their area is going to be responsible for conducting the BIAs in that area. And so once I train them and feel comfortable they understand how to conduct a BIA, we have kind of a symbolic handoff where the program manager then leads the BIA interviews. They're the person that conducts these activities. And this symbolic this handoff is really the first component of ownership that I'm giving the business. They feel, they know how to do it. They've been trained. They feel empowered. They start understanding the purpose of it. They get excited about it. So to me, this is a wonderful opportunity to build a very strong foundation of engagement with the business. Another reason that it's so important is it's enlightening for the business when you conduct a BIA and you do it thoughtfully and in a way that makes sense to the business. So there's been so many times where I've asked the business, what is it do you do? Explain to me in 2 or 3 sentences what it is you do. And they'll look at me and they'll say, that's a really good question. I have to think about that for a minute. And it's not because they don't know what they do. It's because they do so many things, and so many of those things are tactical, that in order for them to frame their response in 2 or 3 sentences requires them to parse through all the tactical and all the strategic. And it's something that I've had several people tell me they've never had to articulate what they do in their department. So just that alone provides a sense of value to resiliency that goes kind of beyond what normally people think about what resiliency is about. It's not about recovery. It's not about readiness necessarily. It's more than that. And one of those things is the operational aspect of a company goes smoother when things are clearly understood. And the BIA is an opportunity to walk through all the components of a process, and I think that's very valuable. And finally, obviously, when I'm doing recovery, I need as much intelligence about the business as I possibly can get. I use all the information from the BIA. I only ask questions that I need to know. I don't ask busy work questions. So everything in my BIA is designed to come in and help me to more quickly respond to a potential incident. I can know what buildings have which processes, how critical they are, how many people, what percentage of people are doing the work here versus Shanghai. So all that kind of information becomes very important for me to respond and help to manage an incident after it happens.
Thank you for watching this video. I will be releasing these free training videos through social media each week. If you would like to view the entire series, please visit bcpbuilder.com/training.